Shall we humble ourselves for a prayer? King of Honorable Ministers and Ministers of State present, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, and your colleagues, Minister of Internal Affairs and Public Service, members of Parliament, the Chief of Defense Forces and your deputy, the service, the Inspector General of Police, Commissioner General of Prisons, service commanders, generals, honorable distinguished members from the districts who have been invited, the staff of Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs, senior officers, militants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Sir, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, our Chief Guest, on behalf of the Defense Forces Organizing Committee, my role is to give a short brief on what the Defense Forces Week will entail. And on this note, I'd like all the members of the Defense Forces Organizing Committee, which is headed by the JACOS, the Joint Chief of Staff, but JACOS will not stand because I am under him. The others can stand so that we recognize you and appreciate you so far. These are the chiefs, but they were responsible to the top management committee, which cleared this program. Sir, today is a culmination of a long process that routinely is undertaken by the Defense Forces Organizing Committee in the run-up to the annual Teresita and Defense Forces Week. Members of this committee undertake a reconnaissance exercise in the country to establish which region to concentrate on the civic activities as the traditional way of celebrating the founding of the People's Army. The consideration to focus on Great Ambarara informed the choice of this year's theme, which is recognizing the sacrifice of the founders of the People's Revolution for socio-economic transformation. The aim of this brief is to acquaint our distinguished guests, especially those going to officiate various activities of the Defense Forces Week and the host districts with the activities which are going to take place. I would like to seek your indulgence, sir, that I share this brief with the Deputy Chief Political Commissar, because the doctors advised that I stop talking for 2 weeks. CPC not talking is a dilemma, but life fast. So if you permit me, let Colonel Nelson Tayebwa to continue.
Of the Fronasa fighters in 1979. We also have a monument at Chikagati where the Commander-in-Chief commanded the battles emanating from Tanzanian territory into liberating Uganda, and many others in the constituencies of the districts of Greater Mbarara. Sir, an overview of the engineering projects. However, we also have the medical outreach programs covering the 7 districts and 6 districts and 1 city, but also the district of Ntungamo, which will have medical outreach activities, but not engineering projects. However, because it had benefited from the earlier Starista activities. Then the rest of the program has been publicized widely by the mobilization teams, and the copies shared with the local leaders. We believe it will be broadcast to the radio stations and all media so that our people can utilize these services as the medical teams deploy today, sir. Sir, I beg to submit and call the chief.
That these engineers' construction projects will be ready on the eve of the D-Day and will be handed over to the beneficiaries on the 5th of February 2023, and a number of political leaders and generals will officiate at that function. Secondly, the program of these activities is already in the districts. Yesterday, the team from Political Commissariat and Chieftains of Civil Military Cooperation already inserted in the districts, and they are working with the district leaders to have these projects, these activities highlighted to the wananchi. Sir, in order to appreciate the historical contribution of FRONASA, we have invited one of the distinguished veterans still with us, Comrade Magodi Kuya, Minister of State for East African Affairs, who will give us a small presentation to give us a snap of what these founding comrades went through and the lessons they think we should pick. It will be a short thing, but worth such a launch. Lastly, these celebrations are a unique opportunity for UPDF to reflect on its long journey and renewing our relationship with the people. With that, I want to submit and welcome everybody once again at this auspicious launch. Thank you, sir.
My name is General Wilson Mbadi. I am the Chief of the Defence Forces. Inaonekana kuna wengine hawajui mimi. Chief guest, allow me to take this opportunity on behalf of the Uganda Peoples Defence Forces to welcome you and all other invited guests present here today who have come to witness the national launch of the 42nd Tarehe Sita birthday of NRA UPDF. You have had a presentation from Honorable Magodi Kuya, the origins of how it all started, and we are very, very grateful. We should always respect those who have created the environment that we are enjoying now. Today is very important for us because it marks the beginning of an event or eventful week of activities in the UPDF. And these activities, as already mentioned by the CPC, will run on the theme recognizing the sacrifices of founders of the People's Revolution for socio-economic transformation. We shall follow our tradition of symbolic activities, like he mentioned, and they were indicated all there, we celebrate this day or week with week activities, activities during the whole of this coming week in the whole of the country. But the main celebrations will be in Greater Mbarara.
I welcome you all to the headquarters of the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and UPDF Mbuya Hill for this 42nd national launch of Tarehe Sita activities as we prepare to celebrate the birth of our army, the gallant Uganda Peoples Defence Forces. Thank you. Dear Chief Guest, as a tradition, the UPDF sets aside a period of 1 week annually, named the Defence Forces Week and the Tarehe Sita. But the truth is, it's not only 1 week. We spend the whole month or even beyond before that week with the people where we are supposed to be. So here, this is where we commemorate the People's Army as the vanguard of national peace and stability. We specifically celebrate the role of the 41 young patriots who were armed with only 27 rifles, led by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, who launched the people's struggle beginning in the later 1970s to 1986, hence culminating into the current political dispensation. Distinguished guests, in commemoration of the above gallant ladies and gentlemen, the UPDF fraternity conducts civil military activities during the Defense Forces Week in order to strengthen our historical bond and relationship with the people of Uganda, as earlier mentioned by the Chief of Defense Forces. Dear Chief Guest, this year's theme for our celebration is recognizing the sacrifice of the founders of the People's Revolution for socio-economic transformation.
I'm happy to be here today, and it's a great honor for me to speak to you on the 42nd anniversary of the national launch of the Army activities of Tarehe Sita. I'm deeply grateful for the welcome and the hospitality. On behalf of Parliament of Uganda and on my own behalf, allow me to congratulate you on this great milestone. Kindly register our deep appreciation for your great service, our beloved country. As an army, you are the true nobility of our country. You are the true patriots and heroes of our nation. Our motherland's protection and safety are totally dependent on you. Thank you for the work you do every day of keeping our country and its people safe. I salute you and pay homage to you because the peace that our nation enjoys today is bestowed on us by your sacrifice, dedication, and hard work. Colleagues, also allow me to pay special tribute to the founding father of our army, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. All this we are attributing to you is attributed to his dedicated service to our nation. He has set the benchmark for stable leadership and built a strong foundation for our country. On the issues of the army, he has created a conducive atmosphere for any Ugandan to grow from any sphere of life. And I want to personally, because I'm sure our Garant Army will maintain the peace and security necessary for this economic transformation. I'm proud to say Parliament has played a critical role in this by enacting enabling laws and ensuring that adequate funding is available to. As an institution, we have an unwritten agreement with His Excellency, the President, and I want to assure you that we shall continue supporting you and making security our number one priority, especially when exercising our population mandate during the COVID. The nature of your work calls for greater sacrifices. You have endured the discomfort of trenches and dugouts, scorching suns and their relentless heat, torrential rains, the loneliness and desolation of jungle trails, long separation from those you love and cherish, and much more for the sake of your country. In the spirit of Pan-Africanism, you have been our brothers, neighbors keeper. In the interest of regional and world peace, you have participated in and initiated several operations on behalf of our country, and as a result, nations on the verge, on the edge, have been rescued from total collapse. You have been the biggest voluntary force in Africa, and we request you to continue being that. Thank you for being our nation's war guardian, for being its shield and fortress from the raging tides of conflict, both internal and external, for being its gladiator in the arena of battle. You hold together the entire fabric of our national system of defense. You hold a special place in our nation's history. Your gallant and valiant actions have earned our country great honor and respect. Happy 42nd anniversary celebrations for God and my country, and I declare the 42nd Tarehe Sita activities launched. We shall also give, drop in the pocket, we have a contribution of 30 million.
You are planting a mango tree for food security, household income, and the whole of the country.
Area which is not.
Which tree is this one?
I have no problem with this horse.
You mean up now they've never planted? They have never planted up to now?
Yes, I've never.
Including Zenoreru.